Today, we will speak about crypto forensics. I have the Sherlock Holmes of crypto, Albert Quehenberger from AQ Forensics.
I lost 6 Bitcoin. And as a former intelligence officer, I knew I had to go to my colleagues in blue, to the police, and ask them for help. And so I did. And I went there and said, I lost 6 Bitcoins, please help me. They looked at me with huge eyes and they said to me, Albert, cryptocurrency, that's only something for criminals. So maybe you wanted to buy some drugs in the darknet or something like that. I went home and I did my own research and I was looking for some opportunities, possibilities in trainings, how to read and analyze and interpret these on-chain traces we get from each cryptocurrency transaction. I ended up at McAfee in the United States of America and I began to become Austria's first certified cryptocurrency forensic investigator.
Let's talk about tech.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About Tech, your podcast on venture capital and private equity, brought to you by Venionaire Capital, the entrepreneurial partners. Today, we will speak about crypto forensics, and I have nobody that you will ever forget in your life here. I have the Sherlock Holmes of crypto, Albert Quehenberger from AQ Forensics. Hi, Albert.
Hello, Berthold. Thank you for the invitation.
I really love this Sherlock Holmes of crypto. I think it's the perfect branding, and we will dive deep into those stories, how you hunt down criminals in the crypto world. But let's start a little bit with your life. How did you become a crypto forensics expert?
That's a very good question. Thank you for that one. Everything started for me in an uniform. Not in the blue one, but in the green one. Because I have this military background. I was working for about or almost 2 decades in the Austrian Armed Forces. And the last 7 years of my military career, I was working for the Austrian Intelligence Center. And there I had the possibility to do a project about cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology. This happened back in 2014. And in 2018, I lost 6 Bitcoin. And as a former intelligence officer, I knew I had to go to my colleagues in blue, to the police, and ask them for help. And so I did. In the district I live in Upper Austria, there was only a very, very small police station. And I went there and said, hey guys, I lost 6 Bitcoins, please help me. I know all the transactions are publicly visible, so I think there is a good opportunity to find the perpetrator. And they looked at me with huge eyes and they said to me, Albert, cryptocurrencies, that's only something for criminals. So maybe you wanted to buy some drugs in the darknet or something like that. And this was a statement I did not expect, and so I went home and I did my own research and I was looking for some opportunities, possibilities in trainings, how to read and analyze and interpret these on-chain traces we get from each cryptocurrency transaction. I ended up at McAfee in the United States of America. And I began to become Austria's first certified cryptocurrency forensic investigator. And the first case I was working on was my private case, my personal case. Spoiler, I did not get my 6 Bitcoins back, but I was able to collect a lot of digital evidence who brought the perpetrator behind this criminal behavior and scheme into jail in the United Arab Emirates. And this was such a huge personal success for me, so that I decided to start my first startup in this field. Mm-hmm. And so it came. And at the moment, when I say we, I mean my beautiful wife, Julia, and I, we are running the second company in this field of on-chain analytics.
Cool. So you have basically had your own pain point and solved it with some education and technology pieces you kind of gathered together, but you didn't program a software yourself. You're using tools that are more
Yep.
or less off the shelf available. Is
Yes.
that right? Okay. And now your clients are people that have lost Bitcoin due to some criminal action, like a high net worth individual or institutions even.
Mhm.
Okay. And so how would they approach you in like, is it something where they feel a bit ashamed, or like I don't know if you did something wrong, or do they know that they have been scammed?
I would say it depends from case to case. Some of the individuals absolutely are aware about that they had invested into a kind of a Ponzi scheme, for example. Yeah. And then there is the much wider range of people who got scammed without knowing that they are investing in a scheme, in a Ponzi scheme, in something fraudulent. In most of the cases, they are looking for some opportunities to earn some extra income, for example.
Just like an asset class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, randomly, I always say you need to have at least a Bitcoin, right? You should have at least one Bitcoin, but then maybe that Bitcoin gets stolen, right?
Yep.
Do I come when one Bitcoin is stolen, or is that not good enough for you?
Absolutely. But there are always some price ranges you should have in mind when you are looking for some help online, for example, because every loss under 10,000 euro is very, very hard to handle, because at some point we do need the help of the law enforcement agencies. And under this 10,000 euro limit, the help, or under this 10,000 euro limit, they will not really put some money and effort into this investigation to help us.
Okay. I mean, I would assume that the people that hire you have been scammed on 100,000 and more, so higher volumes. Now, there's this huge trend right now with privacy coins. I would expect that your life becomes, or your job becomes, a nightmare with all invisible transactions in the future. What's your take on privacy coins? Are these really making your job impossible?
No, I would not say that privacy coins will make my job obsolete or impossible, but we also have been able to watch that criminals change their behavior. So a couple of years ago, when we started with our on-chain analytics, most likely they used Bitcoins or ETH or some stable coins. And this behavior, this criminal behavior, changed a little bit. And nowadays, they are, of course, using more often privacy coins than they did 5 years before.
But yet they leave some sort of a trace for you, right? Even in
Yes.
even in a privacy coin, you explained to me prior to this interview. You said, "Well, privacy is not really privacy." And can you explain that to our audience?
Absolutely. Most of the people think the cryptocurrency are absolutely pseudonym or anonym, but the privacy breaks in a couple of platforms, I would say, or let's call it platforms, because if you want to buy some cryptocurrencies or some privacy currencies, you have to go to an crypto asset service provider
Or a DeFi.
or a DeFi platform. But if you want to use this kind of services, you leave some digital traces there, like IP addresses, you need some email addresses or something else.
So if I plug in with my wallet, let's say on SushiSwap, can you trace afterwards that my wallet was plugged in SushiSwap, for example?
It depends. When the platform is collecting some digital evidence, some metadata, then of course it's possible to trace you only with your IP address, if I see that. And what I can't do is to trace this on-chain behavior. If you're doing some transactions with Monero or Zcash or another privacy coin, we are not able at the moment to trace these kind of transactions. But we can use your digital footprints you left behind and put them together. And by using this digital evidence, we can find you and we can block your transactions.
But aren't there enforcement agencies also like active in this crypto ecosystem? And I mean, I would think that they would have some sort of a backdoor even to privacy chains, so that in case, right, they could keep the bad guys out of the good guys' world. Or is this a fantasy?
Yeah,
Or do we not know?
I think we do not know. I think
Okay.
we expect it, but I think we do not know. And I think we will not find a law enforcement agency or a department which will confirm that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Please don't try it at home. Okay, so you're saying that there is a digital trace that you can follow in your work. Like, let's say there is a scam reported to you, somebody hires you, and you start tracing down, let's say, a few hundred Bitcoin, right? Something of value. How can I think of such a project? How long does it take? How much effort is that? How much data do you analyze? How many jurisdictions do you involve? Is there any like traditional forces that you contact, collaborate with? How does this work?
This was a very good question. And first of all, the forces we involve into some investigations are always the forces from the place where the individual lives. For example, if a German citizen hires us, we have to work together with the German law enforcement agencies. Yeah. Then what we are doing, we are always collecting a proof of source of funds reports that we can confirm the whole story of the victim who wants to hire us. This is always the starting point. And when we have collected all this evidence and proved it and confirmed it, then we are starting the real investigation work. And by reading and analyzing all the on-chain information, we can say you if the story the victim told us was true or not. Because you mentioned it before, feelings, emotions are very, very powerful. So that means from time to time, people don't want to tell us the whole story from the beginning, especially when they, for example, they are married and they fell victim to a romance scam. And they don't want that the partner knows that they interacted with some people online. And so by going deeper into this analysis and the on-chain data, we can say, okay, absolutely true what the victim told us, or we miss a couple of information, but most of the cases we know what scam type was.
What kind of scam was performed?
Yeah,
I guess.
thank you. What type of scam was performed? And now we have to follow the flow of the funds on chain. So, which means in most of the cases, we do know the wallet address, the identifier from the victim, and we do know the recipient of the funds. Because from time to time, we are involved in some broker scams or investment scams. So the victim is telling us, okay, I sent a couple of funds, Bitcoin, ETH, or stablecoins to this platform. And then we did the investments together under the guidance of a support team or something like that. And by checking these first transactions, we do know if this was a regulated enterprise behind this scheme or not. Because we can see with some specialized software tools if the perpetrators have used a self-hosted wallet or a cluster wallet and corporate wallet, for example. And this is the first point when we can tell our clients, yes, you felt victim of an investment scam or a trading scam or something like that. Or, okay, we have to dig a little bit deeper because there was a real exchange involved. And in most of the cases, a scam is working like that perpetrators are mixing some fairy tales with real world processes, which means For example, they are offering you a once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity, and they are doing a KYC, KYT process, a due diligence process together with you, and then they are guiding you that you send some funds to a bank account and exchange the fiat currency into cryptocurrencies. You have to send the cryptocurrencies maybe to a wallet as a kind of a collateral for an even bigger investment or a even bigger business, maybe. And at the end of the day, you are going to a regulated platform, you're doing these real KYC processes, you're doing these real anti-money laundering processes.
And then you end up in the world of the bad guys. And we don't want to explain that on purpose in detail, because we don't want to give guidance for people to
Absolutely.
copy things. Now, with tracing from one wallet to the other, I would expect that the tree of complexity explodes exponentially,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they might use some mixers, right? So basically destroying like one transaction into 100,000 transactions,
Mhm.
right? And make it nearly impossible to trace all of that. And maybe it also goes through 30 jurisdictions, right? Would you then contact 30 jurisdictions if you find trace that those jurisdictions are somehow involved?
Yep. To be honest, that's not our job. So we are not getting in touch with the jurisdictions. We are getting in touch with the platforms based in these jurisdictions.
Okay.
So we always are communicating with these protocols, DeFi platforms, or exchanges. Yeah.
And they are supportive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we are telling them, hey guys, look, your platform have been used for some money laundering patterns, please help us, they will do in most of the cases. Of course, there are some platforms who are not really cooperative, but that's only a couple of them. Most of them are really willed to swipe out all the criminal behavior of the crypto space.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. Otherwise, you get shut off, right? It's there is a zero tolerance in anti-money laundering and terrorism financing. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I've understood this is the private side of business when people are scammed. Now, the government is the next one to start the hunt on tax fraudsters. Right? We have DAC8, we have CARF regulation, the OECD. So basically, your tax relevant transactions will be reported from custodians, brokers, intermediaries, any kind of service providers to tax agencies, and they will start looking for tax fraudsters. Is this the next category of clients you expect to come to you?
Not really. I think CARF and DAC8 are really important. And I think it will also change the whole game, because by providing tax authorities with transaction histories or transaction information about the residents, they are able to figure out some money mule networks or some money laundering patterns, because in almost each case we are involved, identity theft is also a topic, always. Which means the criminals are stealing the identities of their victims, and they are using these identities to open some accounts on exchanges abroad. And they launder some funds over these accounts. It's a so-called nested or embedded service, or we call it money mules, money launderers.
That's terrible. Imagine
It
you
is.
become a scammer without knowing that you are a scammer. Scary. Okay, so if I understood correctly, government's not really. Private will stay your main clients. Is there a global alliance of forensic experts in crypto? Is there like a group of partners you have around the world, like a hunting club?
That's a nice term. It's a global crypto defenders alliance. This is a small, very exclusive circle. I think we are around about 500 people. Most of them are companies, employees of exchanges. who won't actively fight against this money laundering behavior, these criminal structures globally. It's very small, very exclusive, and highly educated, and we can trace or freeze funds within a couple of minutes. And this speed makes us or this network so very powerful, because law enforcement agencies are never able to do this in this time. Because a standard, a classical investigation where law enforcement is involved always needs a couple of weeks or months till they are able to start. And when clients are hiring private companies like us, we are able to start immediately. So they are providing us with the information, they are explaining what happened, and we can go on with the investigation, trace the flow of the funds, identify perpetrators' wallet addresses, in the best cases, of course, with the stolen cryptocurrencies in it, and we can label it, we can flag it, and we can freeze the funds.
But you explained before that you would then bring your your findings to those law enforcement agencies and let them do their jobs.
Yep.
Right. So you're doing the preparation work, data forensics, prove that to the people in blue, right? And let them do their work.
So we're bringing the time gap. Till
So
the official investigation work
helps them with
starts.
expertise, time, resources. I get it. My last question is around the institutional concentration of assets. We have now more and more large ETFs in the main big cryptocurrencies. We have, with MiCA regulation, European Union, more and more banks offering digital assets. We have more and more, regulated fund instruments, certificates, and whatnot, right? Which basically leads to an institutional concentration. So bigger institutions holding a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of ETH, and all of that, right, makes them an even bigger target, right? And I wonder how they actually can stay safe, because we just learned there is a lot of criminal activity in this market. How can you, as a top-notch professional, really make sure that your assets are safe? Because if I invest in the security of a big name company, I want to make sure that my security really holds these crypto assets, and that the crypto assets don't vanish, right, from this large institution.
I think you never can be 100% sure that your assets are totally safe, because what we learned from the Bybit hack was that the technology and the processes have been working very good and properly.
So Bybit, the second, third largest exchange in the world.
Yes.
2024, 25, the big hack.
Early 25, yes.
Yeah.
1.5 billion.
You're saying they are a good example. 1.5 billion
US dollars in crypto assets.
Oh God, that's a lot of paper, or digital assets.
In that case.
Okay, so, and this institution got hacked. How? Because of a technical mistake?
Without writing one line of code. So when we are talking from platforms who got hacked, we're never talking from about a cybercrime army who installed some shady software, some spyware, and spied on all the employees and informations to get access to all the funds. When we are talking in this topic from got hacked, we mean the humans behind got hacked. They got engineered, social engineered. So they got manipulated by the attackers.
Okay. I think this would lead too far to explain in detail. You guys will enjoy Googling that. Just don't do it. It's not allowed. Very interesting speaking with you as always, Albert. I just call you now the Sherlock Holmes of crypto. I think this suits you perfectly. It was a pleasure to have you. I hope you guys learned a lot, and please make sure that you stay safe with your wallets. Make sure to not tell anyone. Make sure that you have all your data secured for yourself. And before working with any institution, make sure that they're regulated and that they have the highest security standards. We don't want you to lose your wealth you have been hard working for. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and please tune in for the next
Let's
episode.
talk about
Bye-bye.
tech.
Thank
Stay
you,
safe.
Albert.
Let's talk about tech. Let's talk about tech, baby. Let's talk about your IP. Let's talk about steel, baby. Let's talk about